Hey, Tony Gaskins here. I'd like to holler at you real quick on this here good treadmill. Missed a couple of days. A lot going on with the hurricane, death in the family, birthdays all in the same week. Birthday on Monday, birthday today, death yesterday, hurricane yesterday and the day before. It's a lot going on. But for me, I gotta press through. I just believe in keeping my hand to the plow, keep working, keep going, trusting God, in and out of season, in the process. And so in that light, I scheduled a class for tomorrow. And tomorrow we just doing a little light session on winning in the recession. And I'm gonna share a couple things that I'm doing just because what I realize is not everybody thinks the same way. We all think differently. So if I take and share some of my strategies, it may make sense to you, it may not, but then you can take and put it with yours and create you a winning formula. So make sure you go to TonyGaskins.com. I'll put the link in the description box. Join us for Saturday school tomorrow. And beautiful thing happening with that Saturday school, getting people on there, men and women. And then sometimes I have one-on-one sessions, and sometimes I'm able to make connections between the people I talk to one-on-one, because it happens so in order that I'm like, hey, I'm talking to you. I just talked to somebody yesterday. You need to meet. So it has really, Saturday school has become something that I didn't necessarily anticipate. And just having that networking opportunity, and sometimes people having a service and sharing it in the chat, and then other people needing that service. And that happened yesterday, or the day before, I was coaching a client, and she was like, yeah, such and such in the chat shared her business, and I've been thinking about hiring her. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be a good hire. So we networking, a little group, coming together, learning. So make sure you grab your spot. Registration ends at midnight. So if you miss it, you miss it. You got to get the replay. I cut it off at midnight so that everybody gets the call-in information, because I may not be by the computer to send out the information before the call tomorrow, or checking emails on Saturday. So make sure you hop in there. Now we're going into some trying times. We're going into some trying times. You got to be prayed up. You got to be stayed up. And your mind got to be made up. You're finna be tried in a lot of different ways. You're gonna be tested in the area of a scarcity mindset. You're gonna be tested through desperation. You're gonna be tested in your love life, in your financial life. You're gonna have tests, because when things start to happen and money go down, the recession, everything start to get out of whack, because everything affects everything. So different things gonna start to happen, and you have to be emotionally intelligent. You gotta be at a place in your life to where you understand that you're gonna have to stay even keeled, that you're gonna have to keep walking by faith. But see, in these times, when people get scared, you got to be motivated. You got to be diligent. You got to be faithful, because it's gonna take something. It's gonna take something from you now, to where you got to have your mind open, and you got to be ready. You got to be ready. So I want you to think about this and start getting your mind right, and make sure that you still betting on you. A lot of people gonna bet on the stock market. That's great. They're gonna buy up some certain stocks that they like. We'll talk about that in class tomorrow. Some people gonna bet on some cryptocurrency. Some people waiting on the real estate to crash all the way, and then they're gonna pounce on that. But one thing that we sometimes forget is to bet on ourselves. You take and you put that little bit of money into getting new knowledge, into starting your company, into buying your product, into marketing your product, pushing yourself. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow too. Finding your thing. Finding your thing. Because it's in these times that we can become paralyzed by fear. So you got to be mindful. You got to be mindful. Because we could be paralyzed by fear, and it's going to take some real process. It's going to take a process, some thought. And you're going to have to come to a place to where you know, realize, and understand that you got to be diligent. You got to be faithful. You got to be mindful. And here's the thing that a lot of us do not do. We don't understand. We don't understand the power of the tongue and even the power of the mind. If you just saying something over and over in your head and you don't squash that thought, it will destroy you. And then if you let it go from a thought to words out your mouth, it will destroy you in every aspect, across the board. When things are on the line, you cannot afford to be pessimistic. You can't afford it. You've got to be optimistic. You've got to speak positive. You've got to speak abundance. You've got to speak life. You got to do it. And you have to win those battles. Do not go in with the mindset that you're going to lose a battle. Win every battle. Don't say, oh, I'm going to get this one up, or I'm finna be petty on this one, or I'm finna go on sin on this one. No, win every battle. Because you don't know what battle will end the war. You don't know what battle that you lay down on that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. So you got to win every battle, because the battle you win, the test you pass, could be the one that usher you into a new season. It could be the one that end that war. The adversary retreats. The adversary retreat because if you resist the devil, he will flee. But see, if you entertain him, if you give him room, you're going to get sucked in and you're going to get beat. So listen to me. You have been given the power. It ain't about, oh, if it's God's will that I don't get in fornication. No, that's your will. That's your will. God not finna lift that leg up and open that leg or grab that pants and zip that zipper down. Young fella, that's your will. God ain't grabbing that hand and putting that hand down there to be doing all that what you doing. God ain't got nothing. God ain't grabbing that remote control or that phone or that computer screen to get on there on them nasty movies. God ain't grabbing your tongue and making you gossip and backbite, lie, cheat, and steal. That's your will. So you got to understand you've already been given the tips and the tools and the strategies you need to win. You got to be ready and willing to win. You got to want to win. So this off the beaten path tomorrow, because we talking about winning in a recession, and I'm not a finance guy, and I don't talk about finances like that, but the Lord let me know, Tony, you'd have been able to get in a position financially to be blessed. You had to do something right. You'd have been able to take care of your family without a college degree, without a team, without a manager. You've been able to do what you've done. You had to do something right. So although I don't call myself an expert, and I know I don't know it all, I know something. And what I know, I believe can help you. So I'm going to give you a few simple tips and tools and strategies tomorrow to get your head right, to cut through the noise, cut through the mess, and get right to the advancement, to the elevation. So hey, it's Tony Gaston. I hope to see you in class tomorrow. I'll put the link in the description. What the radio host used to say, Something about don't be a square and not be there. Be in the building. When they try to get us in the club, be there tomorrow. Because this right here, this is just the small work. These classes, they only $25, and I do that intentionally. I do that intentionally because it's something I understand about self-investment. I can make it free, but then if you make it free, you got haters on there, you got debaters on there, you got idiots on there, you got all kind of riffraff, you got trolls on there. But then you make it too expensive. The people who in the struggle and need that, they can't afford it. But you make it just enough to where it might be a little sacrifice if you're really struggling, and it might just be a drop in the bucket if you're not struggling. But that little bit turn into a lot. So that's very intentional on why I do that. Because what I'm telling you helped me make millions of dollars, but I'm only charging $25. So I'm not equating it the same way to say, hey, pay me $10,000, pay me $1,000 for this class because I done made millions. I am not doing that. We're doing it the way God do it. We got to have a little bit of sacrifice. We give a little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of discipline, and he add a whole lot to us. He bless us. We take one step, he'll take two. We take one step, he might take 10. So that's the way I try to do my business and my classes. Undersell, over deliver. And even if you can't make it tomorrow, I want you to take that with you as you getting your products, rolling your stuff out. So hey, Tony Gabbard here, God bless you. Look forward to working with you tomorrow morning. It'll be about a 2-hour class. Lord willing, about 2 hours. God bless you. We'll talk soon.